Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the September edition of JLive Music. I'm Joey Barron, the Artistic Director for the Jewish Arts Collaborative, and it's just a pleasure to be with you tonight. JLive is our series of virtual conversations that bring us together to explore and celebrate the diverse world of Jewish art, culture, and creative expression. We're bringing you bite-sized conversations with the best Boston area talent. As always, if you have questions during the conversation, please share them in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen, and we'll ask as many questions as time allows. Our special guest tonight is Rachel Tanish, a wonderful violinist. She has been an artist-in-residence in 2 national parks, which we'll hear about in a few minutes, and is a member of the Thread Ensemble Trio, the Cardamom Quartet, and a resident musician with longtime J-Arts partner, musiConnects. And we're going to start out what Rachel came to us and wanted to do something about music and the outdoors inspired by Tashlich, which given the time of year, I just thought was a great idea. And I'm wondering, Rachel, where did that idea come from?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me, Joey. It's really nice to be joining you. With that theme, I was thinking about how for many of us, there might be one body of water that we return to each year for the ritual of Tashlich, or even more broadly, there might be one place in nature that we like to return to as summer turns to fall, and no matter where that is, it's going to feel new this year. Some of us can't get to those outdoor places now. Some of us can't go there at the same times of day, and certainly not with the same large gatherings of people. So we're going to be returning to these places anew and sometimes just in our minds. And music is one of the ways that I'm able to travel through memory. And when I'm performing a piece that I wrote or first heard in a particular place, it can transport me there. I can use composing to take an experience that was just a few minutes long and make it last over years and be able to keep sharing it with other people. I don't necessarily consider myself an outdoors person, but when I want to transport myself to a place that has contained awe, it's almost always in the outdoors. The first place that, the earliest place that we came up when we were talking earlier was a clearing in the woods at a Jewish summer camp that I attended as a kid.
And what was that like? Why was that place special to you?
It was a it was part of it was the returning, the ritual of it each morning. The and part of it was the kind of soundscape, being able to hear our own footsteps entering there
Yes.
and going between silence and song, and then all the rest of the senses, the smell of that space, so a mix of the music and the other sense memories have this really nice ability to transport.
Nice. So can you tell us about the first piece you're going to play?
Yeah, these tunes are more on the fiddle side of things, in the style of an air and a reel, and they get at that idea of experiencing a place with new eyes. The first is about seeing the lights start to illuminate and come down into Zion Canyon at sunrise. And the second is about when I finished up a residency in Acadia National Park in the dead of winter, when the beach areas have this extra layer of crunchy ice and snow on top of the sand. So coming back to a place at a new, unusual time. This Sand and Snow is the second one, and I'll start with West Temple Sunrise.
That's beautiful. It's such a natural sound to your playing. It's great. So let's get right to the big question. What does an artist in residence in a national park do?
The artists are part of the mission of the of stewardship of the park. So we have opportunity to talk to people both while we're there, visitors and people who live in the area, as well as everybody else once we're back at home. There's a long tradition of all different types of artists in the national parks, then sharing with a wider audience some of that beauty and why they're so important. And yeah, so while I was there, I had a chance to write inspired by my surroundings, using some of all the different musical vocabulary, fiddle, classical music, improvisation that I brought with me, and was able to take some inspiration from the different aspects that I was of the views that things I was seeing on hikes, and the experiences interacting with people, and sort of figuring out different ways to translate them into pieces of music. And I think my favorite part of those residencies was getting to share the works in progress, and hear from people directly who either live there or have been there that day, what they heard in the kind of reflection of the space that I played for them.
And they're coming across your playing is random, right? It's kind of like you pick a place to play, and if somebody walks by, they hear you, and if they don't, they don't.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I was able to run into some waltzers on a trail, but other times there are much more formal presentations and concerts set up at the local library and community center. That's also part of the time there.
Nice. So let's hear some of your music. What's your second selection?
This is a duo I wrote for clarinet and violin that I turned into a short solo piece just for tonight. It's about the contrast of marshland and water at Marsh and woods up at the Rachel National Recreation Trail in Wells, Maine. And the whole trail walks along the edge of two very different landscapes. So it's, you're in the woods, you're looking out at marshland, and it's an invitation to think about this transition time. For me, thinking about what needs to go and what I want to take into this next year. It's called The Edge of the Marsh.
Thanks. let's talk about awe. I love that you mentioned awe when you first answered the question. And we're coming up to the days of awe, and I think awe is such a fascinating word and experience. And I'm wondering how does like this music and the high holidays and nature, how does it all make sense for you?
It's these kind of moments in the year and moments being outdoors, both that feel like some of the only times that we're able to kind of take the pause and look around and take in what's around us, or get into touch with our senses. I think about the what it's like to hike and climb and kind of and feel be feeling the kind of the textures of the trail as you're moving. And when I've written music outside, or when I've written music in these residencies, I've often experimented with different ways of using my time, writing versus hiking and walking. And what I found is that it was better to spend a day just doing one or the other and being entirely focused on and taking in just the experience itself, rather than try to write and split it up, just to be able to kind of fully experience those moments of awe and notice some more. And then that was able to kind of seep in on the days that I was able to go deeper with the writing.
So this is an odd little question. When you go for Tashlich, wherever you go, however you do it, do you bring your violin?
No.
Okay. Just had to ask. And the other question that it's been in the back of my mind since I think we met is, in thinking about awe and in thinking about how nature inspires you, looking back, was your music different? Was your music from one national park different than your music from the other? I think that if we did a kind of a blind taste test situation, we might be able to figure out which came from which place, but you might not be able to put your finger on exactly why. But kind of being immersed in a completely different, I guess, palette of experiences, it shaped all the things that I was creating. And then, of course, just being at a different time in my own life, that also shaped what I was creating. And it's a little hard to separate the two, but I do hear some of those differences, even though I bring some of the same musical vocabulary and starting points as a jumping off place. Nice. And the Tashlich is my favorite high holiday ritual. And I think, it's outside and it just kind of breaks from the heaviness of being in the temple all the time. And there's an element of joy to it as well as awe. And there's lots of joy in your music. And I think there's joy in the next piece you're going to play. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, sure, yeah. This next piece is called The Puddings, and it's based on an area of the Duck Harbor Mountain Trail on Idaho in Acadia National Park. This area of the trail was named because it looks like the kind of whipped different peaks in pudding, and it is very playful in the kind of the experience of walking through the area too. So I hope that comes through in this little set of jigs.
It's great. You know, one of the I personally we're just getting to know each other. I'm in awe of musicians, so thank you for giving us all a night of some awe. And thank you for being here, and thank you for reaching out to us. By the way, our next JLive session will be on Friday, September 25th at 4 o'clock with the award-winning chef and activist Irene Lee from May. And for info on the complete JLive fall season, be sure to watch our emails and visit our website at jartsboston.org. And last but not least, as the JArts tagline says, let culture connect us. To make this possible, we rely on generous community support like yours. If you enjoyed the JLive series, please consider donating. You'll find links to donate to JArts in the chat. And on behalf of all of us at JArts, thank you for being here, and may 5781 be a year of sweetness, health, happiness, and awe for us all. Shana Tova.